Writing on writer's block. Haven't slept in days, they wanna put me in a psycho watch.
Welcome to Writer's Block. This is a series where I'm talking about the path of writing my first book. I wish that a lot of great novelists shared a little more about their writing process. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do when I write my first book. Not saying I know what I'm talking about, and I'm also not saying that I'm a good writer, just saying what happens if you're curious. Today, I'm going to talk about a huge breakthrough I've had in the pacing of my book and something that's helped me write a lot more and a lot better. So initially, I was writing in the middle of the day. Why? I do not know, because I am definitely the kind of person who does things most effectively in the morning. I know this. I always, for the past, 4 years, work out immediately. That's never changed. But what I do after that has shifted a little bit. And the two things that have never shifted in the past few years have been I work out, come back, drink coffee, and read. And then after that, the thing that I do right after that is magical. My body's awake, my brain is awake, I got the coffee pumping at that point. It's a magical time to utilize. And for whatever reason, I wasn't doing that. And one of the reasons was I was doing schoolwork first. I'm a college student. So I was doing schoolwork, which was, I feel it was removing my creative energy, or at least whatever energy goes into creativity at the end of the day. I was using that on schoolwork. And so recently I just thought, screw it. Why don't I write? I usually don't write for more than an hour either way. Why don't I just write before I do anything else? And the first day I did that, I had a breakthrough in the story. And then I did it again. And my word count probably went from averaging 150 to 300, sometimes hitting 500, to now easily hitting 750 words per day. That's just what it's been. And I'm going to talk about another thing that has helped me break through. Before, I just sat down and wrote and just saw and just let whatever happens happen. And that was fine. Like I said, I don't think there's any wrong way to do this, but there are ways that might be better than others, and that's what I'm trying to share. So before, I just sat down, no forethought. I didn't think, maybe this is what I'm going to write about. As soon as I picked up the pen, took the cap off, that's when I began writing. There was no prior planning to it at all. And so I decided, well, if I had some little roadmap when I sat down, maybe that would help. And I tried it. So what I've been doing these past few days is I'll sit here and just write very briefly, maybe 5 to 10 sentences of what I think could happen in the chapter. And then when I go into writing, it's helped a lot in just not kind of lollygagging, I suppose. It was kind of hard to write and not know at all what's coming the next sentence. I think I can do that, and especially in other forms, but when it's fiction and there is a storyline, it kind of helps to have a little bit of awareness when you're writing. That has helped me a ton. I don't know what's contributed, but I think the biggest thing for me was moving my writing to the first thing I did in the day. The power of the morning is indisputable. It's biology, it's your spirit. Your most youthful energy is going to be up front at the beginning of the day. And I can do schoolwork after doing that. I can write my book and then do schoolwork. It works perfectly fine. But I don't know what I was doing thinking that I should write midday or late day. I thought that since I was doing a meditation that maybe it would bring my mind to a calm state similar to that of the morning. That just didn't happen. So it's been really helpful to have a small outline, doing it right in the morning. Another thing I've been doing, I haven't made one of these videos in maybe a week or two, so I'm just going to throw everything out there. Another thing I've been doing is putting on classical music. So I'll put on, this morning I had Yo-Yo Ma I don't know if that's classical, it sounds classical, but stuff like that, instrumental classical music in the background, it really helped me. I don't know what it helped me do. I don't want to say that the emotion of the song infused my writing, but I do think that happened. I don't necessarily want to build a crutch on music, but I'm also not opposed to making that a part of the routine, because it gets to a point where you don't even hear the music anymore. I was listening to something with a writer. It might have been George Saunders, I don't know. And he said that he listens to music and he just doesn't even hear it, and that's what it's about. That's been good. I've really liked it. It kind of helps you get into, and if you listen to the same track, which is what this writer was talking about, you instantly revisit that flow when you put that same music on. And today I had that experience where the day prior I wrote a very powerful scene, put the same song on, and it felt like I was instantly put into that same state. So that's been helpful too. I'm trying to think of what else. Before that, I was kind of trying to go to coffee shops and whatever, and 1 or 2 days a week I would get probably 700 words in, something like that. And that was cool, but you inevitably in each writing session hit a wall, and that's okay. Another new insight, this is from an interview from Hemingway. Hemingway has this concept where he always stops with what he calls juice, a little bit of juice. Hemingway was known for being a pretty slow writer. He wrote about 500 words per day, and that was his goal. If he went a little bit under, then he wrote more the next day, but it averaged out to 500, and he counted the amount of words he wrote, which I started doing. I wrote at the bottom of this little kind of planning book. I write at the end of each session how many words I wrote, and that's been fun too. But the concept I took from Hemingway was I never stop when I've exhausted the creative energy completely. So I'm going into each writing session knowing at least one thing that's going to happen. So let's say, just as a hypothetical, you put two people in a coffee shop. You never want to end not knowing how they left the coffee shop, or what happens after the coffee shop, or the next thing to happen there. You want to know where it's going, because it can cripple you in the time between writing sessions if you do not know what's going to happen next. But even if you write a bit shorter word count, but you have momentum going into the next day, that's been huge for me. And these are things that I couldn't possibly have known before actually attempting to write a book. So that's what I'm most excited for, and that's why I'm writing this book. It's really not even about the book I'm writing now. It's about the books that will follow it, because I'm learning all of these micro lessons that must be learned by writing. I'm really excited to revise as well. Revision seems fun. Revision seems to me like where the mastery comes in. It's where those details that the reader thinks, how could he have thought of that, come in. And I can totally see right now it's a little skeletal. It's kind of just the bare bones of the story. But those little details, I was watching the movie Demolition with Jake Gyllenhaal, and the way they went into the main character's headspace was he was writing complaints to the company of a vending machine. The vending machine didn't give him his M&Ms. And then he kept writing to the vending machine and oversharing. I just loved that subtle detail that made it unique to enter his thoughts, not just this is what it is on a silver platter. And that's something I'm trying to do as well. Just laying it all out. I'm popping off the caffeine. And when you finish writing, you just feel really good. So I'm always riding that high now for the rest of the day. No longer crippled thinking, oh, I need to write. I have no idea what I'm going to write about. But there was a day when I just wrote one sentence and went to bed. And that's fine. I couldn't bring myself to know that I didn't write for a day. So I wrote, even if it was one word. I touched the book that day. So I'd say this is a pretty good update. Another thing Hemingway was talking about, I know this is scattered, I don't care. This video has got to be more for me, I would say, than anything else, but maybe someone will watch this and maybe take something from it. I don't know. But this goes along with what I'm about to say. In the interview with Hemingway, he was pretty annoyed that this guy was asking him questions about the writing process. He seemed to think that talking about writing removed it of its magic. Trying to make it mechanical and understand it removed it of its otherworldly characteristic. And I realized, well, shit, that's exactly what I'm doing with this writer's block thing. But then I think, well, I'm not Hemingway, and I don't really care. Talking about writing is fun, and that's the whole point. It's almost like I owe it to myself to talk about the writing process, because I have wanted something like this. I have wanted someone to share each step of the journey. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Hemingway said he doesn't want to talk about it, so I'm not. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that. I'm gonna end this here. I think this is a pretty good summation of the past week and a half, and a pretty big breakthrough. Of course, it's not gonna be all uphill, I assume. I'm sure there will be bumps in the road, and then we'll get to revision. But it's coming along really well, so I'm super excited. There's a ton of good emotion within this book, and I can't wait. So, peace out. Writer's block. I think this is episode 8. Bye-bye.